Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our next session from our Humber Summer Info sessions. Today's session is on finding funds, and that's everything you need to know about financial aid at Humber. But before we begin, I just wanted to start out by apologizing to anyone who registered for our session this morning at 10 a.m. with admissions. Just due to some technical issues, we are unable to stream, but thankfully they have now been resolved. So thank you for joining us now. For anyone who is interested in attending a session with our admissions team, we will be hosting a makeup day next Wednesday, July 17th at 12 p.m. So a week from tomorrow, and you can visit humber.ca/summer to register if you haven't already. Again, thank you for your patience while we work through some technical issues today, and thanks for joining us for this session. Now, just a few housekeeping items. The closed captioning option is available on your menu. You just have to hover above the bottom of the screen. So you can hover on my face and you'll see a CC button to get those closed captionings up. And you can also use the Q&A feature to ask questions throughout the presentation. We do have a fantastic team in the background ready to provide answers as they come up. And we should have some time at the end of the presentation to ask some of the questions live with Aisha. So there are for those who are watching this as a recording, you can post your questions in the comment section, and someone from Humber should be monitoring those to get back to you. But you may also just want to email us at student.recruitment@humber.ca. That comes to my team, and we would be able to respond to you within 1 to 2 business days. So for the more complicated questions, or if you're not really sure who to contact at Humber, student.recruitment@humber.ca would be a less public forum to ask those questions. So feel free to use that as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from Humber College and for some of our info sessions happening over the next 2 weeks. So without further ado, let's get started with a quick overview. So Humber College is located in the west end of Toronto. We have our North Campus, which is about 15 minutes from Pearson International Airport. It's home to about 20,000 full-time students. And we do have resident spots available for about 1,000 students currently. Students who live outside the GTA typically get a bit of preference there. But if you are interested in residence, check out our website to see what is still available. And then at the back of the campus, we have our 250-acre Humber Arboretum, where the Humber River comes through. And that is a really just a great space, great addition to our campus, but it's really practical as well for many of our students. Our photography students, our urban arboriculture students, our culinary students, where they have like an urban vegetable garden out there. So some students actually have classes in the Arboretum, but for the rest of us, it's just a really nice place to go relax, get away from the city landscape and sit in nature for a bit. At the Lakeshore campus, we have about 12,000 full-time students. Most of our degrees are taught at Lakeshore, with a few notable exceptions. And we currently have spots for about 400 resident students. That number is expected to expand over the next little bit as we open up our new residences that we've been building for the last few years. So keep an eye on those. And obviously elements of this photo are Photoshop, but that is how close we are to Lake Ontario. Like this is what the campus looks like. They just kind of enhance the colors a bit, but we are on the other side of a rugby field from the lake. So it's, again, a great way to get away from the city landscape, but also having easy access to industry and all the amenities that Toronto has to offer. Next up, we have the International Graduate School, which is located downtown at Yonge and Bloor. We mainly offer programs for international students, specifically graduate certificates, so programs that you can attend after you get a degree or a diploma. And there are some programs that now allow domestic students to attend as well downtown. All of the programs we teach at the International Graduate School are also taught at either North or Lakeshore for domestic and international students. But this is just a location a little bit more accessible to the downtown core for students to attend at the graduate level. So without further ado, we have Aisha Patan from our financial aid team, able to walk us through all of the things that you need to know to help fund your education. So take it away, Aisha, whenever you're ready.
You, Paul. Hi everyone, my name is Aisha. I'm coming to you from the financial aid office at this college. For my presentation today, I'll be going over some forms of financial aid options available to students like you in order to help fund your education. So throughout my presentation today, I will be going over OSAP along with other sorts of financial aid options available through the school, such as scholarships, bursaries, and the work study program. So to start off, what is OSAP? OSAP is also known as the Ontario Student Assistance Program. So this program, it is funded by the government. So you will be getting funding from both the federal and the provincial governments. It is based on students' needs. So students are basically able to receive loans and grants. Loans is money which you do have to pay back, while grants is funding which you do not need to pay back. So OSAP, it is administered by three departments. First is the Ministry of Colleges and Universities. The second is the Financial Aid Department, and third is the National Student Loan Service Center. So in order to be eligible for OSAP, you must be a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or a protected person. You must be a resident of Ontario and be going into a approved program in the school. This can include certificate programs, diploma programs, and degree programs. So the application for OSAP, you do need to apply every new academic year. Applications, they do open around May time each year. The application can be submitted online, so everything is basically done online. That is going to be the most quickest and the most easiest way for you to submit your application. However, if you are having any sort of difficulty submitting it online, then there are also paper applications available as well for students. If you are unsure whether you want to go ahead with OSAP funding, but you're not 100% too sure whether you want to or not, there is this online estimator tool where you can basically submit a small application. It takes roughly 10 to 15 minutes or so, and you can get a rough estimate in terms of for example, how much money OSAP can fund you with for the year. So OSAP calculates your financial need. It basically takes your allowable educational costs. That can include your tuition fees, your books and supplies, equipment costs, computer cost, your personal living cost, and your childcare cost. And it subtracts your expected financial contribution. That can include your income, your parents' income, your spouse's income, and then it gives you your financial need. That's basically how much money you will be getting from both the federal and the provincial governments. So for OSAP, there are limits. If you are a single student with no dependents, you are able to receive up to $510 a week. Whereas if you are a married student or a common law or a sole support parent, you can get up to $825 a week. So for OSAP, you would have to apply every new academic year. If you do apply for the full year, OSAP will basically release your money in two installments. So you will be able to get one installment during the fall semester, while the next installment will be given to you during the winter semester. You must remain in good academic standing for you to continue to receive OSAP funding. So after you graduate or finish your studies, you have 6 months. And after these 6 months are done, they will start to take payments out of your bank account for you to basically pay back all the loans. You have up until 14.5 years to make these payments back. Let's say if you're in a position where you feel like you're not able to make these payments back to the National Student Loan Service Center. Maybe you just don't have a job at the moment. In this case, what you can do is just reach out to the National Student Loan Service Center. Their phone number is online on the presentation at the bottom of the page. They can basically look into options for you and maybe recommend you to basically apply for a repayment assistance plan just to help you further. Maybe you might be able to get a more 6 month extension, or maybe just reduce your payments in the meantime. So that does bring me to the end of OSAP. Now I'll be going into further options, which are offered by the school. The first option is the work study program. The work study program is a great way for students to be able to work around their schedule or just earn some income as well as gain some valuable experience. In order to be eligible for this program, you must be in good academic standing. You must be a full-time student. You do have to be a domestic student, and you must demonstrate financial need. For this application, you can submit it online through your My Humber account, and then within the next few days, you should receive your decision. Next, I'll be going into bursaries. So the Humber College, it does offer bursaries for many students who are in financial need. However, like other factors may be considered as well. You do need to be in a certificate, diploma, or a degree program. There are various bursaries which are offered by like our department. There's tuition bursaries, financial need bursaries, the Ontario First Generation bursary. There's student access guarantee bursaries, and there's international bursaries as well. For this, you can submit your application online. Each of the bursaries, they do have different criteria and also different deadlines as well. All of this information can be found online. Next is scholarships. Scholarships are given to students mainly based on academic excellence, but other factors may be considered as well. There's two types of bursaries which are offered by the school. There's degree scholarships, which are given directly to students straight like out of high school. So let's say based on this chart, let's say if a student graduates high school with between a 75 to 79.9%, they are able to receive $1,500. And then based on the chart, as you can see, moving forward, let's say if they get 80% to 84.9%, they can get up to $2,000. So based on your grade, you are like able to receive a entrance scholarship. Now you can also maintain the scholarship. So let's say if you finish your first year and you get a average of like at least minimum 80%, you are able to get the scholarship renewed. There's also diploma to degree transfer scholarship. So if let's say if you graduate a diploma program with at least a 80% GPA and you enter into a degree program, you are able to get a diploma to a degree scholarship. There's also a application-based scholarship as well. So this is a general application. Let's say if you are looking into scholarships, you can submit this application, and then it will basically generate all the scholarships that you are eligible to basically apply for based on your program and your financial need. And once again, for these scholarships as well, you are just able to submit it online through your MyHumber accounts. So these are just some options which are offered to this, which are basically offered from the school. However, your funding should not be limited to just OSAP and just options, given by the school. You can look into things outside of OSAP and scholarships, bursaries, and the work study program. There is a student line of credit, which are loans given by the bank. For this, there is a monthly interest only payment. You do need to start making these payments back right after you graduate, and you will need a co-signer available as well in order to get like a loan from the bank. You can also choose to just work off campus as well. So maybe just earning some income off campus to basically help like fund your education. There's also registered education savings plans, and then there's also a page for external awards as well. So these awards are given by like third-party organizations or companies. So we do have a page specifically just for external awards. You can just kind of browse through, see what the criteria is and when the deadline is, and just apply for these scholarships as well. And last but not least, budgeting. So it is very important that students do plan, identify their shortfalls, reduce their spending, maximize their income, and maintain a balance in order to help fund your education. This does bring me to the end of my presentation. If you have any more questions or like any concerns, you can always reach out to us at the financial aid office. We are located in the registrar's office. Our email is posted online in our presentation. You can always email us. We do also have a phone line as well. Our extension is 4245 if you do choose to give us a call. And we are open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And at the moment, if you wish, you can always give us a call, and then we can always assess your situation to see whether you are able to like come in for like an in-person appointments. We're not taking walk-ins currently at the time, but you can always give us a call, and then we can always further assess your situation. Thank you for listening. And now I'm just gonna take it back to Paul.
So much, Aisha. I'm just going to share my screen here. Um, so we're going to go through a few more slides. Then I have a few questions of my own. And then if there are questions from the chat, my colleagues will post them for me, and then we can go see what we have and then close it off from there. So as mentioned earlier, we do have the summer info sessions happening over the next 2 weeks. So a lot of different sessions coming up. If you're interested in, again, admissions, learning about bringing in credentials or experience from other countries and how to maximize that in the Canadian job market, drop-in sessions, campus tours. So a ton of really exciting opportunities to get info. So check out humber.ca/summer to learn more. Also, if students apply for this fall before July 19th, so I believe that's the end of next week, and you attend Humber, you will actually be eligible to get a reimbursement of the $125 application fee. So small way to start saving some money to go towards your education. So students will see that reflected on their Humber account after the 10th day of class. So after a couple weeks in the semester, for students who are enrolled and applied before July 19th, they will get that reimbursement. So keep that in mind if you're on the fence about applying. It's best to do so before July 19th so you're eligible to get that money back. So some sessions coming up over the next 2 days. So tomorrow we have drop-in sessions from 12 to 3 p.m. for our transfer team. So it's in person at our North Campus. That's Highway 27 and Finch. So just make sure if you're using Google Maps to come to us, you're choosing the right campus in Google Maps. That's our North Campus. So if students have credits or even full credentials from Humber or any other school, and now they're choosing to do another Humber program, the transfer team is there to answer your questions about pathways, transfer credits, PLAR, which is how to use work experience to go towards your course credit. So all that information can be gathered tomorrow in person at our North Campus. And then from 2:30 to 4 p.m., we'll have a campus tour also at North. So feel free to attend both. If you come for like between 12 and 1 to talk to transfer, then you can take the tour after if you'd like, and you can register for all of that so you know where to go on campus at humber.ca/summer. On Thursday, we have from 12 to 2 and then 6 to 7, we have advice and application drop-in sessions at our Lakeshore campus. So that's at Kipling and Lakeshore, which is in person as well. So if you are looking for advice on programs, if you're looking for assistance with filling out your application, any of that good stuff, we can help you out on Thursday. And then from 1:30 to 3 p.m., there's incoming or in-person advising for newcomers to Canada, also at our Lakeshore campus from our expert who advises newcomers, again, how to maximize your education or experience from another country in the Canadian job market. And then from 12:30 to 2:30 and 7 to 8, we will have an in-person Lakeshore campus tour. So 2 tours, one at 12:30 and another at 7 p.m. To explore all of the areas at Lakeshore. So keep that in mind. We also have campus tours all summer long, Monday through Friday, but these are additional times that we have throughout the next couple weeks. And then this is my email, student.recruitment@humber.ca. So if you have general questions or if you just don't know who to contact at Humber, feel free to email us and we'd be happy to answer your questions or direct you if necessary. So if you didn't get the chance to write down the financial aid email, finaid@humber.ca, just email us and we'll direct you. So without further ado, I'm just going to go through a few questions if that's okay, Aisha. Perfect. So the first question here, if students study year round, is OSAP dispersed each semester or only twice in the year?
I see. Okay, so typically full-time applications, they are just for 2 semesters, so they will cover you for the fall semester and the winter semester. But let's say if you do choose to take the summer semester as well, you would just have to resubmit a brand new application. Let's say if you're starting the summer semester during May, right? A good time to apply would be February, and then that would then just cover you for the summer semester as well.
You for answering that. Great question to whoever asked it. I have another question here. If a student doesn't want to take out a loan through OSAP, can they still apply just for the grant funding?
Yes, they can. So after you submit your OSAP application, there is an option on there for like you to just refuse the loan portion. So when you click on that, it will just release your grant portion instead of the loans.
Perfect. And just for anyone who's wondering, the loan portion you pay back, the grant portion, free money that you don't pay back that you're eligible for just based off the information you give to OSAP. My next question here is how long does a student have to claim their parent or guardian information when applying for OSAP? How many years after high school?
So you would have up until, so basically adding like the parents' information, right, onto the OSAP application. So after the student submits their OSAP application, they have 12 months where they need to basically provide their parents' information onto their OSAP application.
But let's say if they've been out of high school for a few years, do they still have to claim their parents' information when applying?
I see. So, if you need, so basically, there are two types of funding. There is the federal portion, and then there's the provincial portion. So, if you are out of high school for more than 4 years, then you don't have to provide their information. And then, if you are also out of high school for more than 6 years for the other portion, then you don't have to provide their information because you are considered a independent student, so you don't need to provide their information onto your accounts anymore.
Here. I've been in Canada since October of 2023. Am I eligible for January 2025 OSAP? They don't clarify
Mhm.
whether they've been in Ontario or not. So we'll assume that they are in Ontario.
I see. Okay, so in order to be eligible for for like OSAP, you do have to be a resident of Ontario. So you have to be a permanent resident, a protected person, or a Canadian citizen. It depends where you are coming from. So let's say if previously you were in another province, like in Canada, then you would have to be living in Canada for at least 12 months to be considered for like OSAP. But let's say if you're coming from like a different country, but you do have that domestic status, then yes, you can apply for OSAP funding.
Amazing.
Cleared also when you do submit your OSAP application. We will like verify like all your documents and everything, and then basically like proceed with your application.
Uh, the next question, I want to apply for the pre-apprenticeship electrician program. What is the process and when can I apply for that? So I'll take this one. If you're applying for the pre-apprenticeship program specifically, that one is completely funded by the government. So you don't need to apply for OSAP. It's actually not eligible for OSAP, but the government pays all everything you need for that pre-apprenticeship program. So that includes your small tools kit, any tuition that's charged. Essentially, all you have to pay for is your transportation to and from the school, and also what you eat for lunch that day. So if you are interested in the pre-apprenticeship program, again, it's a kind of a different kind of program than the full-time programs that typically allow students to apply for OSAP. So just make sure you email apprenticeship@humber.ca. That's apprenticeship with a P at the end at humber.ca. And they can give you some more information about the pre-apprenticeship program, when it starts, how to be eligible, what you need to be eligible. Some of the same requirements as OSAP, but again, it's a completely different process. And you just start the program if you get accepted, and the government pays for everything. So nothing really has to be done for you extra other than getting accepted. So great question, but I would just email apprenticeship@humber.ca to get the specifics so that you can move forward and to see when the next intake is. And then I just have another question here. We'll give another moment for the chat just in case. But my last question is, what is just the number one takeaway you want students to have when considering financial aid? So OSAP, scholarships, bursaries. What's the number one thing you want them to take away going forward?
I'm gonna say probably just applying early. Just applying early is probably like your best thing that you can do. Deadlines, they like they do come soon, and then it can get very stressful last minute. Everything does take time. Like documents do like take time to process. Application does, like like for it could take up between like 2 to 4 weeks for us to like process these things. So I'm gonna say maybe just applying early. That way everything can be just done in time before like deadlines approach.
Amazing. And so we just have another question in the chat here. The deadline to pay or arrange to pay for Humber tuition is July 15th. How long does it take to set up a payment plan? And what happens if the payment plan is not approved or processed before July 15th?
So for payment plans, as far as I know, payment plans they do have to be submitted online through your My Humber account. Payment plans they are done through a separate department. If you do have any further questions about that, you can always reach out to their department. So basically, as far as I know, you would basically just have to apply online, and then it will tell you what your like installments amount that you do have to pay. And then as soon as you pay that, it should basically process within the next 24 to like 48 hours onto your My Humber account. But like I said, if you do have any further questions, then you can always reach out to them, and one of their advisors can always better advise you for this.
And the best way to reach out would be through the inquiry team typically.
I'm gonna say their email. I think they have a specific email, paymentplan@humber.ca. Yeah.
Plan
Mhm.
you're having trouble getting a hold of them, you can just call our customer service line. It's 416-675-3111. You can also Google it, Humber customer service, Humber inquiry, and they can connect you to the right place. For students who either don't get it processed or don't get approved by July 15th for a payment plan, as long as you paid your tuition deposit, the only consequence is you're not able to register until either you pay your fees or have the arrangement done. So whether that's getting approved for OSAP, getting the payment plan set up, what have you. So you're still going to be in your program as long as you've paid your tuition deposit, but the outcome of not having arranged the rest of your fees but July 15th is just you're not going to be able to register for classes the following week until that arrangement is completed. But once it is completed, you'll be able to go back and register as long as it's before um, the end of the first week of class. So registration is open all throughout August and into the first week of September as well, even if you want to make changes to your course registration. We have another question here. Hi, I applied for the web development program and still waiting for my transcript. Can I apply now for OSAP as I'm not sure I will get admission or not? So their application is pending. Can they apply for OSAP before they're fully accepted into Humber?
Yes, you can. So it is best that you do submit your application as soon as possible. You don't need to get like an offer from the school to basically submit your OSAP application. Let's say if you are still waiting on your offer, you can still submit your OSAP application because there are still going to be some like documents which you do need to provide. Those documents can take between 2 to 4 weeks for us to process. So in the meantime, while like you are still waiting for your transcript, your documents can be processed for you.
And then if for whatever reason you get approved for OSAP and you either don't get accepted or choose not to attend in September, OSAP makes sure that you are actually a Humber student, so they connect with us. So they're not actually going to release the funding. But it's just important if you do decide that you're not attending school and you have already been approved for OSAP, just make sure you let them know so that they can cancel your application, just so there's no issues for future applications if you decide to attend a different program at Humber or any other school. So it's always good to let OSAP know any changes early on, because if they find out about it a different way, that can sometimes cause issues depending on what the problem was. Great question, though. That's a really great question. So we'll give it just another minute or so to see if there's any other questions. Just while we wait, though, I just want to thank you for taking time out of what I'm sure is a very busy day to share this information with our students. Hopefully, it will lessen some of the phone calls you're getting. But if you do need help, again, please reach out, whether it's email, whether it's phone. We have a lot of folks at Humber ready and able to help you. It's just a matter of reaching out to get the information. Another question did just come in. What if I change the program um, or change my college? What's the process? So they get accepted to a program at Humber, get approved for OSAP, but then they decide to change into a different program or a different college. Is there anything that student would need to do?
Yes, you would need to let us know as soon as possible. So let's say if you do change your program within the school, you can just let us know, and then afterwards we will just basically update that onto your application. Your funding may get like reassessed because now you are in a totally different program, right? So like their fees may be different. If you're going to be going to a different school now, in this case, you will need to let us know as well so that we can close your application. If you received any sort of funding from like OSAP, then you're going to have to return that funding and then basically apply with your new school for the new funding, and then they'll be able to process your application from like there on.
Amazing. Another 30 seconds or so, folks, for any other questions you have been meaning to ask. And again, if you haven't already, please visit humber.ca/summer just to see if there's any other sessions that may be of interest to you. So I'm just getting word that there are no more questions currently, so we'll close it off for today. Thank you, Aisha, for taking the time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you to our team in the background answering your questions and directing them to our chat here so we can ask them live. Hope to see you at some of the other sessions, maybe even on campus if you're coming in for a tour or a drop-in session. And I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon and to stay dry if you're in the GTA, because I guess there's some rain coming. So anyway, take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.